Back with Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, the 1890 German campaign. Last episode was somewhat interesting. We encountered a battleship versus battleship with a few cruisers involved on their side. Battle almost formed up here in the North Sea near the Shetland Islands, but we could not bring the British, we never spotted them. It was two of our battleships versus one of theirs, HMS Marlborough, with a couple of British cruisers in company, Cochrane and Crescent. This battle did not occur. The following month, those same two groups, our same two battleships, Frithjof and I think it was Weissenberg, encountered those same three British ships right down here in the southern Danish islands. This little long skinny island here is called Heligoland, I think. Pretty near to Kiel. The spawn was much closer. Everything was spotted and within firing range right at the start, and we pretty easily disposed of the two armored cruisers, Cochrane and Crescent. However, Marlborough once again disengaged successfully. And it turns out that the British battleships are 18.4 knots, which is almost a knot and a half faster than our battleships. Both classes are armed with 11-inch guns. Theirs are in double turrets, ours are single. I'm fairly confident, given that it's the same caliber armament, and I am almost certain that our ships are going to be more accurate than theirs, that once in battle, pretty confident that we can handle the British Marlborough class pretty easily. But getting them into battle could prove a challenge as this campaign goes on. My original intent, we are building some shipyard capacity. Here in a few months, we will be able to build a 10,000-ton class. My original intent had been that our follow-on classes would be the same speed as these Bismarck class that we started with, so that if the battle generator pulls one of the old and one of the new into a battle, they'll be the same speed and be compatible that way. Given what we now know about the British battleship class, however, I might not do that. I might try to build a faster battleship next time around. And how that's going to work out, I don't know. Because even if I build it at 18.5 knots, that's going to cost a good bit of tonnage and potentially some other capability. And even then, we won't be faster. We'll just be the same speed. Which, if they run away, may not itself help much. I would have to build like a 19 or 19.5 knot battleship in order to even have an okay chance of catching them, if we don't already start in shooting range. That's a lot. I don't know if I'm going to do that. So maybe kind of the overall strategy will be, as we proceed, we'll continue to beat up on torpedo boats and light cruisers and armored cruisers, and just let the British battleships do what they may and get our victory points from the smaller ships. Now, the smaller ships are faster too. The armored cruiser is 21 knots. So they may not be that easy to catch either if they decide to disengage. The light cruisers are only half a knot faster and they carry torpedoes. So I think they're more likely to try to engage and at least try to shoot torpedoes at us, even though we have the kind of the torpedo deterrence, single tube. I don't know. We'll just have to see how it works out. In any case, off we go into June 1890 and see what happens next. Okay, we've got another one of these battleship defending borders fights where Kaiser Wilhelm der Grosse is going to have to fend off 3 heavy cruisers, 2 light cruisers, and 2 torpedo boats just off of Heligoland. And we've seen a couple of these already, and I will, you know, if those were successful battles, I'm going to fight it pretty much the same way. I suspect what's going to wind up happening is that we probably get some light cruisers and torpedo boats sunk. The armored cruisers may disengage while all that is going on, and we may or may not get one of them. Let's see how it turns out. Nothing spotted right at the spawn. I doubt that the AI will give us a good indicator. Smoke to the... Nope. AI wants to go after them. Okay, so they're somewhere over this way. I don't actually want to fire this torpedo. Okay, so the armored cruisers see us. Okay, here we go. I'm going to guess that a torpedo... No, that's the armored cruiser. It looks like either the 2 lights or 2 of the torpedo boats right behind her. I want to at least damage this armored cruiser enough that it won't be able to disengage. She's so lightly armored, I'm going to just fire HE at her. I've got about a 4-inch main belt, but everywhere else, you know, fore and aft, decks, superstructure is practically unarmored. What is this? That is a torpedo boat. Alright, well, we don't want the torpedo boats getting within torpedo launch range. We'll just head on this way. We're going to bang up Suffolk to begin with. I'm going to have secondaries start working on this torpedo boat, the Bullfinch. What's our conditions? Pretty good. Morning, clear, calm, and calm. %, chance to hit for the 11-inch. That's probably not bad for 1890. Suffolk will start to... There will be a couple hits before long. Okay, Bullfinch has essentially been removed as a threat. Let's shift the 3-inch fire to decoy. Not 100% sure this forward turret is quite able to fire. Yep, it is. Okay. This course is fine. We've actually taken a few more hits than we've delivered, but of course the damage differential is incredibly lopsided. Yeah, it's blocks and ricochets that they're getting with their, quote, hits, unquote. Meanwhile, even with HE, the majority of our hits are still overpins. Okay, Suffolk has been banged up enough that she's falling out of line and going to the rear of her division. Argonaut is now the lead ship of the armored... Well, maybe not. No, she's turning back toward us. Boom. Full pin with HE. And looks like the armored cruisers may be deciding they've had enough already. The 3-inch cruise did a nice job on Bullfinch has pretty much corrected all of her issues. She's got a propulsion back. She's dewatered all the flooding. And she's coming on back for another go. That's fine. Ooh. It was an 8-inch round. They'll occasionally get lucky. It probably assisted by the fact that I gave him a nice flat shot. But I don't really want to open range. I also would really like to make sure Suffolk sinks. But if I turn around and go finish her off, everybody else gets away. And for these, battleship defends borders classification of battles, it's unclear what the game really wants. What's the minimum? Simply doing more damage and sinking some ships apparently isn't enough to be considered a victory. But it also... Okay, let's turn back a little bit. Okay, our hit chance is getting really low on Suffolk. These guys are becoming a bigger threat anyway. But in one of those battles, we sank a heavy cruiser and several torpedo boats. I think it was 4. It was at least 3 or 4. The light cruisers came away with some damage as well. the damage and the victory points were very lopsided, yet the game termed it a defeat, which made me think, wow, maybe they expect you to sink every single one of these ships. And then in the next battle, something somewhat similar occurred, in that we sank several light cruisers, but the armored cruisers got away, and I think a torpedo boat or two may have as well. I don't quite remember. Bottom line, we sank several of the enemy ships again, but not all of them again. And that time did adjudicate it a victory. So I'm not 100% sure precisely what the game is expecting a battleship to do in this type battle. Let's put nope, that's not what I meant. Okay. 11 inches on Kent. Secondaries on decoy. Secondaries and casemates. And again, we've seen this before as well. With even just with that one aft tube that I don't have any intention of firing, this torpedo range ring appears to be causing the AI torpedo boats not to want to come within it to deliver their own fish. Maybe they would be doing that anyway. I don't know. Vindictive is becoming the nearest torpedo threat. And part of this is just, hey, they're the nearest threat, but also, just because they're the nearest ship, we've got better accuracy because of that. Just trying to maximize the number of hits and the amount of damage from our available ammo. We are taking some damage here. Our funnel is out. Towers are banged up. The forward turret is not out of commission, but it has taken some damage. Still above 90% structure. I'm feeling okay here. I think I'm feeling better than Vindictive is. And the majority of the incoming damage we've taken has come from 4-inch guns. So that's coming from light cruisers and torpedo boats, not from the armored cruisers' 8-inch guns. I'm going to slow to cruise just to help accuracy. I don't think those torpedo boats are going to come in and take advantage of that. I think kind of the lesson learned I'm taking away from this is, at least in the earlier eras, it's worthwhile to put some minimal torpedo capability on all ships. With the current AI behavior. They could always change it. Okay, we're taking some 4-inch hits there from these torpedo boats. Not a whole lot of damage. They have banged up my rudder though, and apparently they've caused some flooding. I don't believe any of these compartments are destroyed, so this flooding should get dewatered. Okay. So these have been annoying long enough. Let's see if we can't make them eat some 11-inch. How do they stand up to that? Alright, the crew's starting to bring the water levels back down. But right now, we are still flooding. And I slowed down, but that 13 knots is now pretty much max speed. Actually, we're down to 11.6. These TBs should angle in now and fire their fish. They're not going to have a better chance. They have the geometry, they have the speed. You know, come on in, get to about here, and fire a torpedo on my bow. I don't know if there's anything I can do about that, really. Yet they don't. So the question is, if I did not have this torpedo tube and I didn't have this range ring, would they still be acting this way? I don't know. I think maybe off camera I'll run a custom battle and find out. Okay, that should, there we go, take care of Bullfinch. Let's take out Decoy. Armored cruisers are still in spotting range. They're not disengaging. If they were going to, they would have already. I'm going to come back up to full speed though, or flank speed, I should say. Decoy has had enough, I think. Yeah, she's trying to disengage. I'm not going to turn and, you know, I'm not going to turn and chase her, though. I would rather have a chance. Oh, well, never mind. Decoy's gone. Don't have to make that choice. Okay. Is it going to be possible to get close enough to do some damage here and slow one of these cruisers down? Kent is down to 18.7 knots. That light cruiser's way back here. And felt it necessary to pop smoke. Yeah, they're not disengaging there. Who we got here? Argonaut and Kent. I'm fine with that. I'm not going to turn the guns off, but I'm going to drop them to save mode. We've burned through slightly more than half of our ammunition. Well, the gunnery officer likes his chances well enough. Okay. So far, hopefully I can get one of these armored cruisers, but so far a light cruiser and 2 torpedo boats. I have a sneaky feeling the game's going to call that a defeat. Still range finding on Kent. You're getting there. Range found. Which only gets us up to 3.7%. Kent is 19.4 knots. And looks pretty clear that they are disengaging now. They're not turning to fire again. Let's go normal. Hit chance not great. Basically, we're just looking for a lucky shot here to slow her down a little bit more. May or may not happen. Kind of tending toward the may not, probably, at 3% accuracy. And if I turn, that's going to throw the firing solution off again. But it looks like we have to. Yeah, having to go back into range finding. .5 kilometer distance. 5.6. Down to 1.6% hit chance. And we're now out of spotting range. Don't think that's likely to change. They can still see us, that's why we're not getting the end battle. But they're not firing. Probably because they fired enough that they are in save mode, and they've lost spot of us as well. Okay. So, we did 11,000 damage, 20 times more damage than received. Sank a light cruiser and a couple torpedo boats. Oh, no, they're coming back. This may not be over. I almost pressed that end battle, I was just talking before I hit the end battle screen. Okay, well, let's see. Yeah, they're coming. Well, make up your minds, guys. Alright, Kent is the one that has some, yeah. So they want to run away, but they want to see what they're running away from. It's kind of what that behavior implies. I'm kind of getting in a situation where if I do get that lucky hit or two and slow Kent down to where I can finish her off, I might not have enough ammo. And then I'm in a situation where I'm trying to just pepper her with 3-inch until she yeah, the goal for this battle is sink all enemy ships and don't get sunk. Which I did not do here, meaning sink all enemy ships, nor did I do it in the previous 2 battles of this type. One of which was a defeat, and one of which was a victory. So who knows? Okay, I mean, I've got 62 rounds left. Well, we successfully repulsed the attack here in our coastal waters. Whether the game calls that a win or not, we're about to find out. Yeah, it's a victory. Okay. And I think it was. Light cruiser, 2 torpedo boats down, 806 victory points versus 8. Nice job, Kaiser Wilhelm der Grosse. Medium damage to Suffolk. Light on Kent, light on Pegasus. Vindictive sunk. Both torpedo boats sunk. And we're up to over 5,300 victory points versus 28 for Britain. Still got a nice budget situation. I could be building more battleships now. I'm kind of waiting for that shipyard capacity to come up so I can use this money to build, I'm going to guess 4 of a slightly larger battleship. Probably won't fight another battle, but let's just see, advance until we see what the next battle is going to be. July. Torpedo boat ambush. Apparently, Kaiser Wilhelm der Grosse, after some light repairs following that last battle, decided to go all the way up here into the Irish Sea by herself. And they've run afoul of some torpedo boats. I think she'll do all right. But that will have to wait until the next episode. Thank you very much for watching.